Welcome back to Lift City. My name is Jacob Odell, and today we're going to be going over the best exercises to increase your mobility in your hips, knees, and ankles. And this is going to help you with your squat, deadlift, and anything else you need to be doing. So starting off with our hip exercises, we have our Piriformis Stretch. And that's a little tricky of a word, but it's one of the most important muscles in your hip that assists with hip mobility. And the piriformis is a small muscle located deep inside of the buttocks, behind the gluteus maximus. And it runs diagonally from the lower spine to the upper surface of the femur. And your sciatic nerve actually runs through this, which can decrease the pain that you have if you do have sciatic inflammation or any sciatic nerve damage. The piriformis will actually help you with that.
So the first step that we want to do is lay down onto our back. And you want to have your knees bent slightly and bring one of your feet up to your knee. From here, you want to cross that leg over your kneecap and move your other foot that is planted to the side. And if you see, my hand is pulling down on that kneecap to really get a good stretch into this piriformis muscle. You can see that my hand is right next to it as well. And this is because it's really pulling on it. And most of you are not going to be able to go a full stretch because it will be so tight for you.
Most of you have already done this stretch before, and it's called the pigeon stretch. Or if you have any other terminology for this stretch, then that's how you know it by. But the pigeon stretch is just to increase the mobility of the internal rotation of your hip.
All you want to do is bring that leg and plant it out in front of you. And the angle of your knee does not necessarily matter because we aren't trying to stretch your knee, we are trying to stretch your hip. If you notice, I'm swaying back and forth to try and stretch that muscle in all different ways I can. And just bring that leg forward, squeeze it, put your weight onto your front leg, and make sure that you're pulling on that muscle. And go easy on this so you don't hurt yourself.
This is our assisted knee flexion. And all you're trying to do here is stretch the patellar tendons in order to have more mobility in this area. And this stretch isn't hard whatsoever. It's just to increase that mobility and get a feel for how your knee should bend. This will also help you increase any depth issues that you do have. So if you're squatting and you're not getting enough depth because your knees just aren't going down as far and you don't have the balance, then this is perfect for you just to get a feel of how your knee should be bending.
So what you want to do is pull your foot up to your buttocks area. And what this is going to do is it's going to stretch that patella tendon right there and actually increase the stretch for you. Grab it with both hands if you have to get a deeper stretch and hold it there. You can move it around side to side just slightly. You're not trying to do a hip stretch, but just move it around a little bit if you want to get a deeper connection or stretch in there as well.
As for your elevated squats, the whole purpose of this exercise is to get balance points for your squat. And your balance point should always be on your heels. You never want to be squatting on your toes. Most people don't understand what the balance point actually means because they haven't actually achieved that yet. And they have their toes pressed into the ground when they really need to be pressing those heels into the ground. So what this squat is going to make you do is it's going to allow you to get a feel of not necessarily going in depth, but having the weight shifted to the back side of your body and not the front.
So as you see here, what you want to do is set up the two weight plates or whatever you're going to be having your toes up on and set them about shoulder width apart or a little bit past shoulder width if you absolutely need to. And what you're going to do is just go into a squat. You're not trying to go super deep. You're just trying to go parallel. Even above parallel is just fine. Your goal here is to get a connection with your balance point between your toes and your heels. But you really want to focus on sitting back onto those heels, making sure your knees aren't collapsing in.
As for the ankle stretch, we have our knee to wall exercise. And what this is going to do is it's going to stretch the Achilles tendon and also force you to have a tibialis anterior dorsiflexion.
So first off, what you want to do is place your hands on the wall or by your side. The hands on the wall is just to help you stay stable. And place your foot about 3 to 4 inches away from the wall. And then lean forward as if you were going to be doing a hip flexor stretch. While you are doing this stretch, make sure that you're not leaning too far forward where your heel becomes off the ground. Your whole goal is to keep the heel on the ground, and if it comes up, that means you have to move your foot closer to the wall before it's touching.
Something else that could be included with your ankle mobility is just rolling out your calf muscle. Anything that has to deal with inflammation in that area, make sure you're stretching out the tendons that are there. You also have your ATFL ligaments, which help assist the balancing and control of your ankle itself. And most of you know this injury as a rolled ankle or a sprained ankle. And you know how excruciating that pain is. So increasing the mobility in those as well is going to help you dramatically in any of your lifts. And as always, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We have a buttload of new content coming out, and it's going to be amazing. I promise you guys. So leave a comment down below. Any questions or video suggestions you would like us to do. And as always, build yourself up.